Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris. I have my special guest Mae Monroe with me today. And Mae, let's talk about all the stuff you eclectically do. Where do you want to start?
Let's say we can start where I'm just really excited to be here. Thank you for having me here. It's been such a journey to get here. And one, celebrating 11 years in business and all the things that I do, which is beauty, empowerment, spirituality, and transcendence. This is how I like to show up for the people that I care about or the people that like to experience what I'm all about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and how did you even get into this? Like, give the audience give them a little example of how you use the B.E.S.T model.
Okay. Should I share the backstory, or just kind of the framework of it?
Yeah. Like, well, yeah, whichever sounds best for you.
Okay. Well, I'm going to share the little bit of the different elements to it, but being a Vietnamese girl, Asian American, there's a lot of pressure to be perfect. So if you're not the best, then you're a failure, culturally, energetically, as I was being raised. So there's a little bit of a pressure of being the best, but at the end of the day, who doesn't like going to the best, right? And my mother actually gave me that advice when I was young. My mother was a very popular, successful nail tech back in her time. My mother did struggle with mental illness, so that was a little challenging, but the advice that she gave me really created this whole framework and this philosophy that I now have, and I channel it through my business. But when I was a little girl, my mother would tell me, she would say, I don't care what you do, Mae, as long as you're the best. Because people with money goes to the best, and people with money loves the best. So growing up, I didn't hear a lot of the word I love you. And so when she told me that, I attached, okay, if I'm the best, then I am loved. And if people come see me, then that is love, but I must be the best. So there's a backstory with that.
Okay, real quick, is that still your philosophy in life? Do you have to be the best for people to love you?
No.
Okay.
But it was a great driving force that I took from my mother. And that was her philosophy because, again, growing up, we didn't hear a lot of I love you, I'm proud of you. It was good job or you can be better. So I feel that was my mother's way of trying to teach me how she likes to receive love. And so she was just sharing that with me. And she was right. There was, the kind of philosophy around that. And it led to another story when I was in New York. Before I started my business, I was roaming around in New York and I was walking by a place and the place said the best Bloody Marys. And again, the word best is a very, what do you call it? A triggering word? Or just say...
Yeah, it could be a trigger word for you.
Yeah. So, the word best is really important to me at this point. So I'm like, okay, there's a sign that says we have the best Bloody Mary. So it enticed me. So I walked into the bar. This is when I was 21. So my mother gave me that advice when I was maybe 13, 14, 15. And then I walked into the bar when I was like 21. So I walked in, the bartender was making drinks. And I said, hey, I saw your sign outside. What makes you have the best Bloody Mary? And he lights up, and I'll never forget this moment in New York. He lights up, he goes, because we make our Bloody Mary with rum, the best rum. I was like, well, how do Bloody Marys are usually made? He's like, with vodka. And we don't make it with vodka, we make it with rum. So I said, okay, let me try it. He said, and he put it together, and he created the drink for me. And oh my God, Chris, when I drank it, I felt the love and the passion and the excitement, and it was the best Bloody Mary. And ever since then, I only drink Bloody Mary with rum, not vodka. And it has been life-changing.
Yeah.
So that has created an imprint in me where when you're very proud of what you do and you call it the best, it creates, why are you the best? And it creates questions, and questions is getting to know and connect. So I had a really great time drinking that Bloody Mary. And ever since then, when I'm with friends and people order Bloody Mary, I'm like, you got to try it with rum because let me tell you, it's the best. Yeah. And now all of my friends drink Bloody Marys with rum. So that was cool. now, as I was evolving in my business with 11 years, I started out as a beautician, double licensed cosmo and esthetician. I was double licensed by the age of, let's see, 18, 19? Yeah. And I started my business at 23, opened up my LLC. I'm 33 now. And so it started out as being a beauty professional, beautician, double licensed cosmo and esthetician. As I was being the best in my own unique way through beauty, aesthetics, and makeup, I was evolving into other areas of my life. So I did do Mary Kay. I was a makeup artist for a top Mary Kay national. And I also did do Mary Kay, where I led a sales team and I recruited and I did all the cool stuff. And so naturally, I was taught to train, mentor, coach, lead, and like teach sales. So that was very easy and fun for me. When I stepped away from Mary Kay, I was still doing the beauty part, but that's what kind of activated me into this whole spiritual journey, because I wanted a lot of answers about my mother, her mental illness, and kind of just getting a lot of the questions of the why that I couldn't get answered in my upbringing. So through spirituality, I learned a lot. I love learning, so I ask a lot of why. However, being Asian, growing up, I couldn't really ask a lot of questions, because when you ask a lot, in my upbringing, it was considered talking back, like speaking up, asking why.
As a Caucasian, I had a dad that was the same way.
Yeah? Okay. So it was really hard for me to receive a lot of answers when you have so many questions, but either your environment didn't know how to share with you, or was just like, you're just a little kid, like stop asking so many questions. So through spirituality, I got a lot of answers about all the things that no one could answer for me, and I got a lot of clarity out of that. And I love the whole thing, like the truth will set you free, and it did. There was a lot of painful clarity, but ultimately it brought me to new heights and new elevation of myself. And then in return, that elevated my business. And then in return, that helped me be a better service, and practitioner, beautician, all the roles that I show up as for my clients and my loved ones. So I'm very grateful for that. And so you have the beauty, then you have the empowerment, you have the spirituality, and then I have the transcendence side. So that's really one-on-one, working with someone with the development. So, most beauticians, they work on the outside, and it's very therapeutic, it's very healing. Before becoming a beautician, when I was little, I actually wanted to go to be a psychiatrist. I wanted to work with the mind. I wanted to work with the psychology of like why people do things the way they do, and why do they think the way they think, and what creates these patterns. And so through spirituality, I was able to learn a lot about human design, astrology, numerology, different metaphysics. And that right there taught me a lot that I love, and I'm passionate about that. So now I get to be this like mystical wizard, but show up as a businesswoman and be a healer and a practitioner, an esthetician, a makeup artist. I get to show up in all these cool ways for my clients and meet them where they're at. And so my philosophy is, as long as I'm the best at what I do, I can share and create and help support someone on their best path moving forward, whatever that may look like. So
cool. Very cool. So even like, what is your relationship with the word best now?
Best now, my relationship with the word best, before I did attach it to, in order to be loved, I must be the best. I don't feel that way anymore. My now relationship with best is like, if I go to the best, I'm going to be taken care of. I feel like with so many people lost, especially when I had to grow up so fast, there was a lot of seasons where I was very lost. And it meant the world to me when I could go to someone who could help me. And I just remember being like, oh my God, thank you. You are the best. Like, you can hear me, you can feel me, you can understand me. And that right there is priceless, because when you meet someone that can genuinely help you, whatever that may look like, it's like the best feeling in the world. So that is now my connection to the best, is where like, how can I best show up to best help serve you so that you can go on and live your best life? Because that feeling is like, I don't know how else to explain it, but it's like, I don't know.
Well, let's talk about this. I got a couple of questions. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
so how do you show up as the best without people pleasing and fawning? Because I think that's a big part of it, like perfectionism, right? It's like
Yeah.
if you're perfect, then it's like you gotta keep going and going and going and going versus like finding complacency or contentment. You know, in a sense. Does that make sense?
Maybe ask me a different way.
Yeah, so how do you serve yourself and others, and if they aren't happy with it or if there's something in the way, you're always doing your best, but then like how does it get received with your clients?
Like, are you saying if I'm showing up my best and they don't know how to receive it?
Yeah, well at the beginning you mentioned like it sounded like the best was like a perfectionist from your mother. Like she taught you to be a perfectionist.
Yes.
So now you still show up as the best, but like if people have comments, do you still hold yourself knowing that you're always doing your best? Does that make sense?
Not really.
Because I'm trying to, man, that's tough. I'm trying to figure out how
maybe
to.
maybe how I respond to you is I used to be really hard on myself because I had such high standards and high levels for myself. So yes, I would take things personally because I do want to be my best.
Yeah, there you go.
But now um I've learned that always having better for yourself is a journey and it's a process. So I've had to switch gears from being like, I need to be perfect. I need to be the best in order to receive. That is no longer like
There you go.
that
That's what I was looking
that
for.
is no longer
Yeah.
a driving force for me to show up. Now it's more like I know that if I show up as my best, what best feels like to me. And if someone can appreciate that, then this is where the generosity and that version of me opens up more. However, and the word but is if somehow, some way they can't receive me or they can't understand me or it's misunderstood or they feel like my services or my essence is not needed, then I have also learned that it's not in alignment. So I don't take it really personally anymore. It's almost like, okay, you're lost.
Yeah, because I'd say you're always showing up as your best. It's like,
yeah.
I got this saying somewhere, and it was like, no matter what, humans are always doing their best. Whether you're hungover, whether you're high, whether you're, been sleeping in for 3 days, it's like you're always doing your best and showing up to the elements. So it's like in the essence, we're all always doing our best.
And now I like to channel my OCD and my perfectionism to be my best is within my process and delivering results. But as me, as the person Mae, I know that I don't need to perform to receive love. So I channel all of that perfectionism through my process when I'm actually doing my application because, that is important. Like if I'm taking care of your skin or I'm doing makeup, like there needs to be a level of
attention to details.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I channel that energy over there. So of course I'm going to be at my best when it comes to application and delivering results. But when it comes to me, I'm more fluid. I'm more chill. I'm just like, if you love me, great. If you don't, hopefully you at least love what my process and my skills and my delivery can be for you.
Yeah. So a big thing that we always talk about on this podcast is like your message, right?
Yeah.
Do you know? So the foundation of that is like what kills you and you have to learn from, you transform and transmute into something else. So like what is the best acronym mean now in your practice? And how did that walk through your whole story? Like what is the B.E.S.T of your model stand for?
Beauty, because everyone loves beauty. Empowerment. And do you want me to go down into what they are?
Name all 4 of them real quick.
Okay.
I think that's really cool how you transformed it.
Okay, so beauty, empowerment, spirituality, transcendence. Best.
Because I'd say, judging off your story, that's the same path you walked down.
Yes.
And now it's the same path you serve the people who want to follow you.
Yes. And it's such a really cool way because I didn't have a really healthy relationship with my mother. And it's kind of like, would you call it a silver lining?
How so?
I don't know if that's the best. I don't know if that's the word to say, silver lining, but because I never had a connection with my mother and because she gave me that advice, it was a catalyst to my overall business. And so when I was doing so well as a beautician and I was evolving to these other areas, but I did not know how to share that with other people, I was like, how do I tell people and show up in all the ways, because I'm not just a facialist. I'm not just a makeup artist. And that's when I was thinking about my brand and my business concept, Mae Monroe Beauty. And this was actually like 3 years ago when I was sitting in meditation. I was like, I'm not just a beautician. I also empower because I'm an entrepreneur. And then I'm really spiritual. I love the spiritual concepts of teaching people and helping people, and then transcendence, like really like transcending of all the stuff you've been through. And I was like I was like in that meditative state, and I was like, oh, beauty, empowerment, entrepreneurship, spirituality, transcendence. And I had this light bulb moment, and I was like, wow, Mom, wow. And I was like, best. And I heard her saying, if you want to be loved, you must be the best. And I will say, Chris, when clients come to me and they receive any of my offerings or service, and they literally say, this is the best, or I love this, and then they, pay me or they tip me, there's this beautiful exchange where like it's hitting my soul. I'm like, okay, this is what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Very cool. So then because I also feel this too, as like your relationship with your mom was like rocky at the beginning, and now it's like you get to be the kind of the mom your clients didn't have as you nurture and take care of them.
Yeah.
So talk about that journey. Like, how do you, when you have somebody on the table, we film multiple days, like how do you approach them and treat them? And what is your main feeling or emotion you want them to feel when they're around you?
So the most, this is going to sound really sentimental and very, very, actually this is going to be very sweet coming from my heart. I've always wanted a sister. Mm-hmm. Never really had a sister. I do have a couple aunts in my life that were really cool. And of course, I never really had the mother that I wish I had. I had the mother that was just needed to.
The mother who taught you a lot of lessons that took you really far in life?
Yeah. So I made a promise to myself when I was little that I said, when I grow up, I'm going to be everything I wish I didn't get to have, mm-hmm. or I wish I could have had. So one of the things that a lot of my clients don't realize is when I show up for them is, I'm getting a little emotional, but how I show up for my clients is really how I wish to have shown up for me.
Yeah. That's very common in conscious creation, entrepreneurship. Yeah.
So I blend like the big sister energy and the cool auntie and like the mothering, nurturing side. Now, mind you, I don't like to babysit. I don't like to babysit. I don't like to be in that container of nurturing and empathy for too long, because I am expansive. I am coaching and mentoring. I am guiding forward. So I don't like to be in that therapeutic container for too long. Mm-hmm. However, my touch is therapeutic, and I'm here to uplift and empower and support and motivate. So I like to receive everything. I like to give everything I would like to receive if I was on the table or mm-hmm. in session. Yeah.
Because I'd say in entrepreneurship, that's like the model is like we're endlessly targeting and marketing to ourselves. And the more we treat ourselves like we want to be treated as clients, like it endlessly always works, because we're honestly just mirroring ourselves. It's like the higher level of entrepreneurship, I'd say.
Yeah.
It's always like each client, even in marketing and agency, they'll show up and I'll be like, oh gosh, and I'll be like, that's the same thing I was doing at different angles of life and stuff. And it's like, oh, I'm just back to another version of myself. And it's always fun. So it's always fun to see that translate. So then through your B.E.S.T model now, what's the bigger vision that you want to take people to with it?
My bigger vision I want to take to is right now, the B.E.S.T is all separated. It's all in its own little containers. Where I'm moving towards is to creating the ultimate container program where you work with me and I work with you, and it's a co-creation where like I take you through this amazing personal, spiritual, emotional development process where I get to bring in all of the aspects of the B.E.S.T into the container. So I haven't created that yet, but I'm excited to start creating that. So that will maybe look like maybe expedite 3 months or 6 months or 9 months or 12 months. I'm not there yet. I'm working towards there. But for now, if you want a one-on-one session through each container, that is now available. So yeah, I'm thinking about, okay, what are all the things you had to do, Mae, to level up and to become your next best self? Okay, how do you translate that into an offering of service so that it can be effective and valuable for the person that is wanting to book that, receive that. And then now, okay, how do I put together this whole, I don't even like to call it program, container, mentorship. Because being a Virgo governs digestion and health. And so I've gone through a lot of health seasons that is connected to, mental health, emotional health, how you show up, how you feel. And so there's a lot of layers to helping, supporting a woman become everything. Yeah.
I'd say, and you said a word there I used to use a lot in entrepreneurship, is like, how am I going to do this? How is this going to happen? And I read, somebody actually gave me this book and told me to read it. It's called The Who, Not the How. Because a lot of times there's who's that know all the hows. So it's just finding the right person around you and letting them solve it. Because there's, even in Austin here, I had a lot of like, how is this going to happen? How is it going to work? All I had to do was meet one who, and they introduced me to all the other who's. And I'm like, well, there's no more hows. It's who do I need to talk to today to figure stuff out, which is a really cool way.
Yes.
And it's kind of like your clients too, when they're like, oh, I got this problem. I want a facial and I'm really low on my confidence and, I'm feeling spiritual, but nobody gets me. And then it's like, and then if they transcend through it, it's like, how are they going to solve that? But it's you, the who. And it's just like, it's a big, big tip to anybody watching. It's always look for the who's, not the hows, because the hows get solved through the who's, and typically who's have 5 or 10 solutions that they carry with them.
Yes, I'm the who you should know.
Yeah, I love that. And it's like
oh my hair.
Because you're a multifaceted creator, and it's like we have all these talents and all these skills, and it's really like we feel lost in our lives because we're here, and everybody's like niche down, and you're like, I can't. But then you're like, then you put it all together into a personal brand, like you did through a model that's complex, but it's simple when they look at it, because instead of a brand, it's a person, and a person can do a lot, but a brand has to keep it simple.
Yes.
That's like and it's like you have a beautiful journey of personal branding, and it's like coming all together now, which is exciting.
Yes.
So that's the hardest part, is pulling it all together sometimes, because there's so many layers. It's like even on my stuff, it's collaboration, exploration or curiosity, and metaphysics is how I narrowed my 3 down. But 2 years ago, it was like ayahuasca, content creator, videographer, photographer, editor, and then those 3 words encompass it so well.
Yeah.
And that's what I love. The B.E.S.T model is so simple, and then it's an acronym, but it also like really well tells people they're going to get the best treatment possible.
Yes.
So you solved all the problems.
Yes.
With a 4-letter word.
Yes.
And all the other 4-letter words were taken, which were bad words. We won't say those on here.
Oh,
but that's the best one left, right?
So I just love it. It's my mantra. It's my philosophy. Okay, those are my 4 pillars, and it's a great way for me to check in myself. It's like, okay, is what I'm saying yes to, does that align with my B.E.S.T? Is it going to nourish, support, expand, strengthen, elevate me into these areas of my life? So it has kept me a lot out of trouble and away from trouble, because I used to be in a lot of trouble. So those 4 pillars, I was like, okay, I need to go here. Now, but I just can't wait. I can't wait when I start creating these containers and amazing woman gets to experience the journey that I went through, but I packaged it where they can experience it. And it's like gonna be the best, Chris. It's gonna be the best.
That's dope. Well, I'm excited to see it all. We have about 5 minutes left here. I got a question that was brewing. Let me see if it circles back.
Okay.
I was gonna say, what are you most, well, we already covered what you're most excited for in the future, but how can you grow each element at this point? Is there aspects that you want to grow in it?
Can you ask me a different way?
Yeah, so like beauty's being refined right now. Like
Yes.
what other areas do you want to, like through empowerment? Is that going to be more of a coaching, and spirituality will be, more of like metaphysics stuff, or like how does each category kind of give me a sample of each category?
Okay, so right now in my beauty pillar is being very refined. I know my process. I know the application is there. So if you want to have transformation on the aesthetic level, then that is assured. I infuse healing and I infuse empowerment, that when they open up, they can now switch over to the empowerment or spirituality side. So the empowerment is where it's mindset coaching, is emotional help, is coaching and consulting. And this is where we're doing a lot of mind work, like processing your thoughts, going through your thought process and taking out
limiting beliefs,
infusing it. And this is where the spirituality aspects come through, because when they're like, well, why or how? And it's like, okay, well, let's run your numbers. Let's look at your charts. Let's look at your lineage. So now you're tapping into the soul and getting a message from like, why is your soul here? What does it want to share? What does it want to complete? Because then it brings that clarity. And then now when that person is like, okay, now that I'm understanding and hearing, how do I break through? Like, now that I understand the mindset of this, now I understand the spiritual aspect, how do I actually go through this? And this is where that transcendence side comes in, where I sit one-on-one. Is considered a VIP day, where I actually work with them mentally, emotionally, spiritually, with the support of Mother Earth. So, in one of my biggest genius and gifts is being very attentive and intuitive to the needs and applying it through the six senses. So when I'm working with someone, I'm able to pick up, okay, what is it? Touch, feel, hear. What are the six senses?
Six senses, your third eye, and then it's eyes, ears, taste, smell. I don't know. You got me stumped.
Yeah.
You got sight, hearing, smell, taste, touch.
Yeah.
Third eye.
So it's like almost like once we get to that container of transcendence, when we do a VIP day, when I'm sitting with the client and now we're going into a meditative state, I'm so connected and dialed in where I'm able to be, okay, Chris will need to see this to break up this pattern, or he needs to feel this, or he needs to hear this, or he needs to smell this. Because when you start deconstructing, like letting go of all the conditioning and reconditioning to create new patterns, it's so beautiful. But again, the person has to be open and ready to receive that type of new programming and letting go of the old programming.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I deal with that all the time in personal branding. That's the hardest aspect, is the systems versus like the outdated ones that don't work versus the ones that work. You know, there's a big line there. But before we get too far there, so reflection back, it sounds like beauty is for the beauty from the inside out. Then empowerment's more of the mindset coaching.
Mindset and emotions.
Mindset and emotions, removing outdated patterns. Spirituality is more the metaphysics, going through the charts and looking at all the lineage and the soul's
readings,
blueprint.
Connecting with your guides.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love that.
And then transcendence is like the completion, the graduation, the one-on-one day, putting it all together.
Connecting with all of it, and it's just a boom. And I literally, every single person that goes through this VIP day with me, their life completely shifts. Their life changes. And I love that. I love seeing transformation. I love seeing the elevation. I love seeing the expansion. I love seeing them completely change their physiology, because they're like, you know what? From all that, I realized I don't need to have those habits anymore. I have these new habits. And it's not forced. It's from their own willpower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. So we got 1 minute left. This is a perfect time to wrap this up, because I think anybody watching will definitely want to go through this B.E.S.T series through you and in each element, because it's very dope. And I got to do a facial that was sick, which you guys will see that video up here too. But where can people find you? No pitching and no sales on here, but you can share your socials and your website. So
yeah, you guys, I have a website. It's just my name, www.maemonroe.com. All of my offerings are there, my current offerings, and my socials. That is still being navigated, but I have my beauty part up on social media. On Instagram is maemonroe.beauty on Instagram. And from there, you can kind of see my portfolio of beauty work. But the best way to connect with me is looking through my website and reaching me out and filling out the form, and let's connect. Just because there's a sacred element of vetting and process, and I want to make sure that we are in alignment. That's all.
Well, perfect. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for everybody watching. Peace out and have a good day.